Realty and Personal Property. Segment 1, Block 1. Question 1. Which of the following is a variance? The answer is A. A variance is an exception to zoning. It does not change zoning. Question 2. When real property represents a non-conforming use with regard to current zoning regulations, all of the following are true except. Answer is D. The use is grandfathered and may continue through the change in zoning. So again, all of the above is correct. A, B, and C. The use is legal and permissible as long as the building exists with no major structural changes. B. If the building is destroyed, no new structure may be erected on the land that is not in conformity with existing zoning. And C. The use may continue even though it is in conflict with zoning. Question number 3. The right of the government to place reasonable restrictions on the use of privately held land is known as. Answer B. Police power enables the government to regulate the use of privately held land to protect the welfare of the community. An example would be zoning. Question number 4. The difference between police power and eminent domain can best be determined by whether. Answer is B. Police power regulates use. Eminent domain is a taking of private land by the government and requires payment. Question number 5. All of the following are true concerning real properties registered under the condominium law except each apartment. Answer D. A proprietary lease would belong with a cooperative. Question number 6. Which of the following statements is true about apartment ownership? Answer is D. The declaration of condominium gives the owner the right to elect a board of directors. Question number 7. The bylaws governing a real property that is subject to the condominium law generally would include all of the following except. Answer is D. The bylaws govern the association's actions, not the unit owners. So A. A provision for election of a board of directors of the association of the apartment owners. B. The method by which each apartment owner's share of the common expenses will be collected. And C. Provisions for conducting associating meetings are all correct when concerning the condominium law. Question number 8. Which of the following statements comparing condominium with cooperative ownership is true? Answer to question 8 is B. The bylaws in a cooperative may require the board to approve any new prospective shareholders. A celebrity could be denied because of the unwanted media attention. Question number 9. A husband and wife contact a broker about selling their home. The wife has a number of outstanding debts. Which is true of this real property, which is held as tenancy by the entirety? Answer is A. Both husband and wife are entitled and both signatures will be needed to sell their property. Question number 10. Which is true regarding the liability of a limited partner? Answer is A. The limited partner only stands to lose their own investment. The general partners have unlimited liability. Question number 11. Which is usually true under commonly accepted principles of tenancy laws? Answer is B. The surviving spouse will gain ownership for the right of survivorship. Question number 12. All of the following are in harmony with joint tenancy ownership except. Answer is A. Joint tenancy includes the right of survivorship. No probate is needed. Question number 13. In the sale of real property owned by a limited partnership, who must sign the sales contract or deed for it to be valid? Answer is C. All general partners must sign to transfer title. Limited partners must not participate in operations. Question number 14. Which of the following statements is true? That would be A. The easement is an imperfection on title and when transferred to the new owner. Question number 15. Which of the following statements is true? Answer is D. The easement is an imperfection on title and will transfer to the new owner. Question number 16. The most practical method of imposing restrictions on all lots in a large subdivision is by. Answer is C. Recording makes the restrictions of public record and would show on a title search for future conveyances. Question number 17. A person owning beachfront real property sells the two lots between his lot and the public road. This person will be best advised to reserve from the transfer which type of right-of-way? Answer is C. This would enable him or her to cross over the two lots to access his beachfront lot. Question number 18. If a deeds property to B and her hears with the stipulation that if B leaves no hears, the real property will then go to C. Then C now holds which type of estate? Answer is C. As a third party, C is a remainder with a future interest in the property. It would only be revision if ownership goes to the grantor. Which of the following is correct regarding a life estate? Question number 19. Answer is C. An ordinary life estate is created voluntarily by contract. Question number 20. The holder of which of the following would be a non-freeholder? One word. Answer to question number 20 is D. The estate for years is a lease, not ownership. Question number 21. Literal real property is located on. Answer is B. An adjacent landowner's water rights to non-flowing bodies of water. Question 22. A father deeds a life estate in the farm to his son. The son sells this interest to a friend. What happens to the farm when the friend dies? Answer is C. As long as the son is still alive, it goes to the friend's heirs. Question 23. If an area is rezoned industrial and a commercial establishment is given permission to continue its ownership in that area, this is an example of which of the following? Answer is B. The commercial establishment is grandfathered to the original zoning and would not have to conform to the new zoning. Question 24. An owner wants to extend the side of her house beyond the setback boundary. What must she obtain? Answer is A. A variance would make her property an exception to zoning. It does not change zoning. Question 25. A grandfather clause in a zoning ordinance may permit a owner to. Answer is C. The grandfather clause would allow the same use to continue. And the answer to the question is a grandfather clause in zoning ordinance may permit an owner to perform maintenance on real property. Question 26. Eminent domain, taxation, police power, and SGR. Answer is A. All of these are government restrictions or controls. A being restrictions on the ownership of any real property. B being benefits belonging to other owners of real property. C meaning private restrictions on personal property. D meaning factors that affect only owners of land abutting government-owned real property. On to question 27. An action brought by a landowner against the government in which the landowner claims money damages because his real property value has been decreased due to government action is best called. Answer is C. If an owner suffers a loss or damage because of the government's exercise of eminent domain, they will take legal action against the government. That is an inverse condemnation. Question 28. The purchase of any of the following units could have a fee simple interest except. Answer is B. In the cooperative form of ownership, the corporation would hold title to the property. The person would own stock in the corporation. Question number 29. All owners of condominium units have all the following except their own. Answer is D. Deeds to the common element. The common elements will be owned by units owners as tenants in common with other owners. Question 30. Which of the following events creates a tenancy in common? Answer is A. Transfer of one joint tenant's interest to a third party. When a unity of joint tenancy is broken, the ownership changes to a tenant in common. Question 31. A woman and her brother hold real property in joint tenancy. What results if the woman deeds her one half to herself and her husband? Answer is B. The joint tenancy is severed. Ownership becomes a tenant in common. Question 32. Two sisters, Faye and Myrtle, inherit real property from their mother with no stipulation except that 1/3 is to go to Faye and 2/3 to Myrtle. Which of the following is true? Answer is D. Upon Myrtle's death, her share passes to her devisees or heirs. Unequal interests make this ownership a tenant in common and are inheritable. Question 33. Tom and Sue take title to a farm as joint tenants. Assuming Sue dies, which of the following is true? Answer is D. Tom is the sole owner of the real property. Joint tenancy includes the right of survivorship. Tom is the sole survivor. Question 34. In the case of three tenants in common owning a real property, which of the following is true? Answer is C. Each tenant has a separate and distinct interest. Each tenant would hold their own interest and the interest is inheritable. Question 35. Al conveys real property to Bob and Charles, who are unrelated and not joint tenants. When Bob dies, what most likely happens to ownership of the real property? Answer is B. Bob's share could go to his heirs. There is no right of ownership. Question 36. Al, Bob, and Charles own real property as joint tenants. Charles dies. Then Bob sells his interest in the real property to David. The real property is now owned by. Answer to question 36 is C. Al and David as tenants in common, each with 1/2 interest. When Charles died, Bob and Al now own each through right of survivorship. When Bob sold, the ownership changed to a tenant in common. Question 37. Ted, Nadine, and Mike are tenants in common. If Nadine dies, the question is, what happens? So the answer would be A. Ted's share in the property is unaffected. Nadine's share is inheritable. No effect on Ted. Question 38. The imaginary lines of land which run north and south are called. Answer is B. Ranges. Definition of ranges. Question 39. The ABC company agreed to lease a space for 10 years. 5 years later, ABC sold its company to XYZ. If the lease contains no provision regarding an assignment, ABC may. Answer is A. Assign the leasehold interest to XYZ because a contract is assignable unless restricted in the contract. Question 40. All of the following events will terminate an easement except. Answer is D. When the dominant tenement abandons the easement will run with the land and go to future owners. Question 41. Which of the following statements is true? All liens are encumbrances. All encumbrances are liens. Specific liens affect all property of the debtor located in the state. Or judgments are specific liens. The answer is A. All liens are encumbrances. Encumbrances are imperfections on title, as easement is just one example. Question 42. Which of the following is true regarding an encumbrance on real property? A. An encumbrance effectively prevents the passing of title from grantor to guarantee. B. An encumbrance may indicate a lien. C. Encumbrances are liens that restrict use of the property. Or D. Encumbrances are restrictions that transfer title to property. Answer is B. An encumbrance may indicate a lien. An encumbrance will not prevent transfer of title but must be disclosed. A lien is one type of encumbrance. Question 43. The grantor of a life estate can do all the following except grant title using a registered assumed name, receive title upon the death of the life tenant, take back fee title at any time, or D. Create a life estate for the life of more than one person. The answer is C. Take back fee title at any time. The grant of a life estate is a legal transfer of title. Question 44. The boundary of a real property is changed by. Answer number A is accretion. Answer number B is adverse possession. Answer number C is encroachments. Answer number D is construction of a fence. The correct answer is A. Accretion is the addition of a land by the deposit of soil from a river, lake, or sea. Question 45. In real estate, the term improvements most nearly means A. Fences, wells, waterways, and roadways. B. Additions to the original structure. C. Everything artificial or construction to the land. Or D. Upgrades to the interior. Answer to question 45 would be C. Everything artificial or constructed to the land. Improvements are man-made additions to land. Question 46. Riparian rights are best described as those rights specifically granted for a specified source of water. B. Found in the records of the county's recorder's office. C. An owner has from a natural water course abutting or crossing the land. Or D. obtained by the purchase of fixtures. Answer to question 46 is C. An owner has, from a natural watercourse abutting or crossing the land, riparian rights or water rights to an adjacent landowner of flowing bodies of water. 47. Question 47. Which of the following is true about condominium ownership? A. The definition of common elements includes any basement, gardens, lodging for janitors, recreational facilities, and interiors of apartments. B. The declaration of horizontal property regime, also called the condominium declaration, need not include a description of the limited common elements because real property is restricted to its use. C. It applies only to residential buildings. Or D. Owners have the same tax benefits as do owners of single-family homes. The answer to question 47 shall be D. Owners have the same tax benefits as do owners of single-family homes. When it comes to condominium ownership, condominium owners hold title to their unit just like a single-family homeowner. Question 48. An easement opportunity is the usual type of easement granted to a utility companies to permit them to run electric lines across the real property. That will be answer A to question 48. B, runs with the land. C, has only a dominant estate. Or D, benefits the servient estate. The answer to question an easement opportunity is B, runs with the land. The easement will go with the land to future owners. Question 49. A freehold estate is an A, estate for years, B, estate in fee, C, estate from year to year, or D, none of the above. The answer to question 49 is B, estate in fee. A freehold estate holds title, and estate for years is a lease. Question on 50. Riparian rights would exist in A, hotel whose land abuts a large lake. B, house on a bay. C, cooperative on a river. D, well rights. Answer to question 50 would be C, cooperative on a river. Riparian rights are for flowing bodies of water. Question 51. The Civil Rights Act of 1866 prohibits discrimination based on A, race, B, familial status, C, sex, or D, handicap. Answer to 51 is answer A, no exceptions, a race. Question 52. Michael Jackson entered into an installment land contract for the sale of his home. Which of the following is not correct? A, the buyer is the vendee. B, the buyer will hold legal title during the term of the contract. C, the buyer will hold equitable title during the term of the contract. D, the buyer will take possession when the contract is signed by both parties if the contract so provides. Answer to question 52 is, which is not correct. That's what we're looking for. C, which is the buyer will hold equitable title during the term of the contract. The legal title will not transfer until final payment. So A is correct, the buyer is the vendee. B is correct, the buyer will hold legal title during the term of the contract. And D is correct, the buyer will take possession when the contract is signed by both parties if the contract so provides. So C is the one that is not correct, not true. On to question 53. Personal property is generally conveyed by A. Answer to question 53. Number 1, A, trust deed. B, quiet claim deed. C, certificate of title. Or B, bill of sale. What is the answer to 53? Let's see. Correct answer is D, bill of sale. Real property is transferred by deed. On to question 54. Actually, there is no 54, so that's good luck and thank you on the quiz and test.